takes the fronts of the neck.
Should I wheel in?
Nope, you're fine. Hello, Modesto viewers. This is Felicia Aleman again, and you are welcome to July's episode of Run the Light. In case you don't know, running the light is a term used in comedy. When you're a comic performing, you get a certain amount of time to perform, and when you do that, they flash the light when you're almost done. If you go too long, it's called running the light, and that's what we do here. So yay us! I'm sad to say that Rocco is not here this month. I'm really sad about that. So I am everything again. Let's see what we're gonna do is let's get started with the opening credits. Hit it, Felicia! Do 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 do. It's funny that I'm singing because we're at a radio station. Do 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 all me. Do 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 do. Kind of sad about this part. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Thanks, guys. Okay, we're all done. Yay!
Outstanding.
Okay. So, first of all, I just want to tell you guys one exciting thing to keep an eye out for a video extra. We have so many shows going on in the 209 for comedy that I just cannot put them all in my column, so I'm going to make a video extra, give you guys a little extra insight into what's going on. Today, we welcome, as our guest, Roman Guzman. You might recognize him from the River radio station. If you do, I do suggest that you get medical attention because that's not how radio works. But anyhow, welcome, Roman.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so today, what we're doing is, comedy is hard. You're in a large a club, a bar, whatever, and there's a lot of stuff going on.
Right.
And so it's you have to work with a lot of distractions. So this is what I'm doing this month. This month, Roman and I each have a doll. And during this conversation, we have to get this doll out of the box, get it undressed, and redressed again, hopefully. If any of you have children, you know how hard this is. But anyhow, get started, Roman, because we need to get this going. So this is our activity. We have to talk and do this all at the same time. So, Roman, what made you start doing comedy?
Well, I've been in radio now for a couple years. Almost 15 now. 15 years in radio, and so I've been getting real used to being. I hope you didn't want these boxes because I've shredded mine. I'm used to being on stage. I'm on stage a lot, presenting bands and different events and hosting events and things like that. And I would usually, get a laugh or two before bringing a band on, and that was always fun when it worked. It was always fun, and it's always kind of been in my head to do more of an actual stand-up, to actually get up there and stay up there as opposed to just bring on the band. So it's something I've been thinking about, and of course that's the sort of thing you think about a long time before you actually do it. So, but I thought, I'm comfortable on stage, I've been on stage, I can get the occasional laugh, so I thought I'd throw my head in the ring there and see how it worked.
Now, what about producing shows? Was that an easy transition from the radio? Have you done music shows before?
Yeah, that's a good question. Back when the station, the River, used to be a smooth jazz station. Mm-hmm. Now we're rock hits, but we used to be smooth jazz. And during that time, I did used to produce jazz shows, jazz concerts. National acts would come in, and we do concerts in the Modesto area. And I really missed doing that, but it started to cost me. It's just there stopped being any money in it, and so I had to stop doing it. And so when the comedy thing started happening, I thought, well, I've already kind of got the infrastructure in place. I've done it before with jazz. I can take the things that worked with that and bring it to this and do that. Plus, it's a lot easier. If I'm presenting my own shows, it's a lot easier than driving to Sacramento or San Francisco during the week to go to comedy clubs when I'm up at 4 a.m. So if I could, I'd go to the comedy clubs during the week, but I can't do it, so I figured I'd do my own.
That also inspired me to do shows. That's a hard drive after a while.
It is.
So, what was your favorite thing when you made the move into comedy?
Well, that's a good question. I think at first it was, I guess, the whole bucket list thing, you know, being able to sort of face that fear and work through it, because I got the idea to start actually doing it right around New Year's, but I didn't really get on stage until March. I spent all of that time talking about it, and every time I'd get the opportunity, there would be, I'm going to need some scissors here, or a hammer or something here real quick.
Oh, you're going to have to trade. It can be done.
But every time I get the chance to do it, there'd always be some reason why. Oh, here they go.
Now you got to get that one back on. Oh, dude, you pulled it. So every time
maybe not. There was always some reason why it just didn't happen. Usually there'd be an excuse for me to use to not go on stage. And I started doing that. So I finally just decided March 3rd was the first official gig on a boat, on a ship called the Aurora in Stockton. And a guy had a party, and he told me to do some stand-up, and it was the worst way to do it. There was all kinds of reasons not to do it, but I thought, I can't keep talking about it and not do it, so I just did it. And when it was done, you feel good about yourself when you got it done. There were a couple of people listening, and those who were listening laughed, and only one of which was actually married to me, so it was okay. It was all right. And I thought, okay, I'll do this again. So at first it was that, but yeah, I mean, getting that reaction from, especially like if it's a story you've been telling at parties for years and years, to actually tell it to a room of strangers and have people laugh, and when the laughs turn into applause, and then they, if you get a check after that, that's awesome. That's a lot of fun.
Checks, yeah. So cool. So is there anything that you started doing comedy and you're like, I don't know if I can do this because of whatever? Was there something that like turned you off that made you not want to do it?
Well, I watched a documentary on, I think it was on Amazon Prime, on hecklers. And I didn't even finish it. Halfway through it, I'm like, why am I watching this? This is horrible. This is making me not want to do it, because it hasn't happened yet. I haven't had a heckler, and I don't have any clever responses yet, or anything like that to deal with one. And so that's, that's a concern. Or just looking stupid. That's another thing. I hate to look stupid. And so maybe comedy isn't the thing to get into, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
So what are your plans, like ultimately plans, not like, what's coming up recently, but like, do you want to tour? Do you just like doing what you're doing? Do you want to produce some more shows? What do you see? How do you see yourself growing?
Nobody has asked me that. Not my wife, not anybody. Nobody has asked me that question.
Hi, Jess. You're going to find some stuff out today.
I guess stardom, rehab, and comeback. I think that's really the main goal. That's where the money is, I believe. But I mean, if it's something I could do, I'm not looking at it as just a hobby. I mean, I think if that was the case, then I wouldn't want to take up the space. There's people who would love to be in these lineups, and if I'm just there as something casually to do for fun on the weekend, then somebody else should be in that spot. That's just my opinion on that. So I do feel it's more than just a hobby. I would really love for it to be something that actually could pay a bill or two. That would be great. That's my goal. Just to be able to make a little bit of money at doing this, it would be awesome.
So I'm assuming you've been a comedy fan for a while, right?
Oh yeah.
So what are you looking for when you are looking for a performer to book on your shows? Did you get her dressed?
Well, I only made one little knot. It's not like a bow or anything.
Mine didn't come out as a bow. But this was actually...
She looks a little trashy.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
She's walk of shame, Barbie.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
But what do you look for in a performer when you're booking someone? Oh man, you did.
Yes.
This poor
Fortunately, my daughter's old enough to dress herself. For me, really, and this was the same thing with musicians too. When I was booking musicians or booking comedians, a lot of it comes down to, in music they call it hangability, which is the kind of person that you just want to hang out with. Somebody that you can chill with and spend an evening with and spend some time with. And that, you know, they're going to be cool. If somebody's got an ego or is an issue or is high maintenance, you know, I don't need it. I don't, you know, even if it's a big name, it's not, I don't need it. You know, I'm old enough now to where there'd be no reason to deal with someone's nonsense other than my own. So really, it's just if they're cool, if they're nice, and they look like somebody I'd like to get to know or hang out with, then great, we'll do it.
Cool. Okay, so we're almost done. So what do you have coming up in July?
July 28th, Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, this Thursday. I've got a show.
No, that's June 28th. We're looking at July.
Oh,
For July.
right. So the final Thursday of July, which actually I think is the 26th, I think. The final Thursday of July at Familia Bistro on McHenry Avenue. It used to be Jacob's Fine Dining. Now it's Familia Bistro. That's where I do my shows, and we're doing the last Thursday of every month. So for July, I've got a guy named Ron Vai coming in. Ron Vai is a maniac. Yeah, that guy's a lunatic. He used to write for Joan Rivers. And he's just nonstop. From the second he hits the stage to the second he leaves, you're just dying. I was literally in pain. My ribs were hurting, my face was hurting. That guy's a maniac. So yeah, he'll be headlining for me at the end of July. Jason Sohm will also be on that bill, and somebody else that Ron is bringing. But so that's going to be a great show. That'll be at Familia Bistro. The shows always start at 7 o'clock, final Thursday of every month.
Awesome. And then I also have Roman booked at Stanislaus Brewing on Saturday, July 28th. And that is from 8 to 10. And headlining that show is going to be Mean Dave, which I don't know if you've met Mean Dave. So anyhow, but Modesto viewers, that is it. We are finished running the light. Thank you so much for listening. And here's the theme music. It's actually outro music.